Kojo, good evening, and welcome again to CWS As It Is. Why are you here this evening with us? What is it you have to share with us today?
Um, well, I suppose the reason I am here is because of uh, my recent win at the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival for the Best Project and Pitch competition called the Immersion. Um, Before that, we were already myself and the Caribbean Film Academy through Romola Lucas. We're already planning to start production on the short version of that project that I pitched in the middle of next year. Because of the work that was done during the immersion program, which is a development program.
Kojo, you were selected as one of the 10 participants in the Caribbean Film Project. You received an award. You received an award recently from CAFA. What do all this mean to you?
It's recognition. It's I'm reading this. I was listening to this audiobook, Fear and Art, I think, by a man named Bales. And one of the things that Bales talks about in the book is the kind of self-doubt that creeps up on artists a lot, that, you're only pretending at it, that you're not really a real artist, and that's a universal thing, no matter what your discipline is. And so it's a reaffirmation that, you know what, I, I'm serious about what I'm doing, and that seriousness is actually reaping some results and is respected. Um, I mean, the whole experience of the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival is a really awesome one. I commented while I was there that I was with my tribe, and it really feels like that you're um, immersed in a place with kindred spirits or people who have the similar interests and aspirations that you do, and we were all feeding off of each other. It wasn't really as much as it was a competition when we got into that space. And I mean the immersion, not the wider film festival. We got into the immersion. Immediately we were made to feel by our facilitator, Christina Lazzaridi, who lectures at Columbia and Princeton, that this is a safe space for artists to interact with and to grow with each other. And we put our minds off of the competition aspect of it, for the first 3 days. So it was a really awesome experience. It's a really, really awesome experience.
What was it like leading up to the Caribbean Film Festival? How did you prepare for this project?
When I had entered the Caribbean Film Project screenplay competition that Caribbean Film Academy put on early in the year, I had a few months to play around with the concept, and just build on it and build on it and build on it. So when I entered, I really had enough material for a feature length, but I had to constrict it to that short film format. Um, so I started out basically by just unpacking all of the old ideas that I had to jettison, um, but also building on them, based on the experience I had with the Caribbean Film Project and working on that concept. Um, so that was it in practical terms. How I prepared for it. Um, that's basically it. Then.
How are you encouraged to pursue what you're doing, to continue working as diligently and passionately as you are in filmmaking?
I'm encouraged a lot by a lot of the younger artists coming up. To be honest, more so than the veterans, and that's not meant to be an indictment or to say that there is a generational struggle going on or anything like that. Um, they're there are a lot of hungry artists out there. Hello, you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
All right, I saw something with my internet connection being unstable. There are a lot of hungry artists out there that keep you on your toes. You know, they keep on your toes. You can't rest on your laurels um, at all. You know, you have to constantly be trying to take your ideas to the next level, take your execution to the next
Uh
level.
huh.
Yeah, so that's where I get a lot of encouragement.
Do you, Kojo, anticipate a Guyana Film Festival uh, in the near term?
A Guyana Film Festival is going to come. It's definitely going to come. I mean, they're between the between local producers, resident here, between Guyanese living out there in the diaspora, whether it's in the UK or or in New York or whatever the case may be. It's somehow or the other, there's just a lot of interest in it now. You see it with the activity of the Caribbean Film Academy. You see it with Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival. This being their 10th year, taking it to a more professional level where filmmakers get to interact more with industry professionals, with the launching of the Caribbean Film Database, with people like Amanda Wilson in the UK producing documentaries like Coffee Face or Rebellion. And she's in the country right now um, doing some work in support of of a film project.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's it's coming. It's coming. Whether we jump on board or not, it is definitely coming. And it's a first step towards much greater things.
First time you attended a film festival, the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival.
No, it was the second time I'd actually attended a film festival proper. The third time I'd been involved in one. The first time was in 2012 Bahamas International Film Festival with my film Beached. To the Night was in the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival in 2012 as well, 2012, 2013. But I was not able to take part um, in that as much. Um, this will be the first time though that I've not the first time. This is the um, yeah, this is the first time I've really been able to get this much out of the film festival experience. You know,
Mm-hmm.
not just being there with a film, and it wasn't there with a film this year, but a film concept, but also being able to really develop your craft and to network and to really squeeze as much out of the experience as possible.
What was it like having Mason Richards, another Guyanese filmmaker, and the founder of CAFO, Caribbean Films? What was it like for you having them with you at the film festival?
Felt like a mini insurgents, beginning of a little insurgents, friendly insurgents.
Uh huh.
Um, no, because we're all very different. Romola is a producer. Mason is also a writer director, um, but we tell our stories differently,
Uh huh.
you know, and we're all in different places as well. Mason would have gone to the Cannes Film Festival, so he's already gotten a good toehold in there. Mola Lucas is doing great work with the Caribbean Film Academy over the last 3 4 years, and me as the relative newbie. But it was great though to really get the support. You know, they were supportive all the way through. They were as happy for me as I was for myself, and that was really.
Did you learn anything while you were there at the film festival? Any tidbits of information and techniques that you can share with other Guyanese filmmakers?
Yeah, I learned quite a few things. What can I tell you that was not told to me in confidence? Um, Ooh, good question. Good question. Good question. I mean, what I would say, generally speaking, though, it's not so much of an inspirational note, but a practical note. Um, of course, feature lengths get more attention. You know, people go to the cinemas to watch feature length films and all that, and sometimes there's a sense of urgency for us to make feature length films in Guyana. But what I have found from this experience, and I've also heard my experience mirrored in other places, is that really what we need to work on is getting or is using the short film format as a platform for going on to the feature length film. So that's what Mason Richards did with Seawall, which he was in the Caribbean Film Mart this year, interacting with industry professionals to make the feature length of that. Are you familiar with a movie named Whiplash?
Whiplash? No, I
Yeah,
can't say that.
there's a movie named Whiplash. I think I got Best Actor in the either Golden Globes and or Oscars last year, year before last. That started off as a short. So my advice to aspiring filmmakers in Guyana is don't worry too much about the feature length and being Spielberg and all that, but just really perfect that short format, the 5, 10, 15 minute film.
Well,
Perfect that.
Romola is here. Let me bring
Bring
her
her
on.
on.
Oh,
Hi, Kojo.
Welcome,
hello.
welcome to As It Is. I was just asking him what it was like having the three of you there in Trinidad, you, him, and Mason Richards. What was that like for you?
It was
Let's just tell the audience. I know you've been here several times, Romola, but we always having new people listening in. What what is CAFA and why were you in Trinidad?
all right. So CAFA is the Caribbean Film Academy. I started it along with Justin Blaze, and we basically started the organization to work with and share the work of Caribbean filmmakers. We do that in several ways. We have a film series at BAM. We have a monthly film screening series, and we have a VOD platform where we share Caribbean films, and we also help to produce Caribbean films. So that's kind of what we're doing. We have a blog, all sorts of stuff, all centered around filmmaking in the Caribbean. So we were in Trinidad because visiting film festivals and connecting with filmmakers and industry professionals at film festivals in the Caribbean is part of what allows us to do what we're doing. So Trinidad has the biggest Caribbean film festival. And so we have to go there just to keep a beat on what's going on. So that's why we were there this year and last, and we're gonna keep going.
So, what do you think of Kojo won a Caribbean
Yeah, he did.
Film Festival award from you guys? What was that like? I think it wasn't only Guyanese that was part of this film
No,
festival.
right.
What was that like for you, giving an award to Kojo?
Well, so what we did is that we have a film project which is styled as a script competition, and we ran it in a few countries where there aren't a lot of films being made: Guyana, Grenada, Dominica, St. Kitts, and then we did the diaspora as a country. And out of the submissions we got about 3 submissions from Guyana, but only one ended up qualifying to be read, and it turned out to be Kojo's. So for me, I was happy because I was hoping that we would get a script from Guyana to as a winner, so that we can get a good short coming out to Guyana because I mean, working with Caribbean films, we're seeing short films coming out from all these different countries, telling stories from those countries, and nothing's coming out to Guyana. So like, I really hope we get one so that we can make a film there.
I asked Kojo earlier about a Guyana Film Festival.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I would love for there to be a Guyana Film Festival. It's something that we're talking about already. And it's a matter of, getting films is not hard. And, the idea would be to get some Guyanese films, but also show Caribbean films as part of the festival, just to give people an idea of what's going on in the rest of the Caribbean, but also an opportunity for some Guyanese filmmakers to make films to share with Guyanese audiences. But that would be fantastic if we were able to do it.
Going back to the TT, what is it, Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival, TTFF. Royal Bank of Canada, RBC, sponsored it, right, in a big way. Why do you think it was important? You may not know this necessarily, but I'm going to ask you your opinion. Why do you think they sponsored it in such a big way? And would that be as an example for Guyanese companies to sponsor a Guyana Film Festival? Kojo, you can jump in here if you want to. You're on screen.
So I would say that from the inception, I can't say from the inception, but I know from very early in the festival, RBC came on as a sponsoring partner, and there are several other Trinidadian companies that sponsor different aspects of the festival. So there's the prize, the awards, the monetary awards that are given are there are both 3 different Trinidadian companies that do it. Royal Bank came on as a sponsor for the immersion program, which is what Kojo was a part of. Where several filmmakers came together who had stories in development, and they were given some training and then had to pitch their story ideas. And RBC just chose to sponsor that particular program, and it absolutely can serve as a model for companies in Guyana who are interested in supporting the arts in general. But if there is a similar type of festival in Guyana, like a film festival, being able to get companies to help with paying for the venues and paying for transportation and sponsoring different financial, needs of a festival is something that would be great. Yeah.
What? If I jump in here,
Sure. Go ahead.
A lot of times you hear, quite locally that what we have is not good enough, in terms of our artists, our music, our film, or whatever the case may be. Even though it is beginning to shift, positively. What I think is that you don't really appreciate is that what differentiates us from the rest of the world, the rest of the Caribbean, is opportunity. I remember reading an article, an interview with Derek Walcott from St. Lucia Castries. And throughout the interview, he kept emphasizing the fact that there were people very early on in his life who encouraged him towards the arts, who exposed him to literature, exposed him to painting even. And so it just became a natural part of his life. I think sometimes we have this idea that artists just spring out of the ground. This idea that, the Renaissance was just an enlightening, didn't have anything to do with, immigration and transfer of people and ideas and literature and the music and their culture and so forth. If you want to be able to produce at the same caliber as the rest of the region, the rest of the world, then we have to start providing people with opportunities to develop the craft with incentives, with enticements. For instance, I would not have written my movie if I had not known that CAFA had the screenplay competition. It's because the CAFA screenplay competition that I wrote it. Just because it's a chance, it's an opportunity, it's an avenue for me to express myself and possibly get the work seen. So that's just me jumping on soapbox coming off soapbox.
But you currently live in Guyana. Do you think let me start from Trinidad. Is the Trinidad government involved? Is there any kind of subsidies, any kind of sponsorship?
I can't say for sure, but I believe that the festival is supported by the government.
And how can the Guyana government help in this?
So I would say, helping to market and promote a festival to the people of Guyana as something that they should participate in. Maybe allowing, if it's done when school is in session, allowing students to leave school to attend screenings curated specifically for them. helping, part of what makes a film festival very good is to be able to have the filmmakers there to answer questions after the films. A lot of these films are very powerful, very emotional, and it's helpful to have the filmmaker there afterwards so people can talk to them, because that's what they want to do. Is after they see it, they just want to say, "Oh, I remember when this happened to me," kind of thing. So having helping with the costs of bringing filmmakers in and hosting them while at the festival. Helping with the cost of the venue. So if the budget for the film festival, to bring people in, to provide accommodations and meals and get venues, if the budget ends up being like $20,000, then subsidizing half of it, or 3/4 of it would be helpful.
What does a film festival, in your estimation, do for a country, or a country's economy, country's morale? Yeah, just to come.
All right. So films are I think one of the most powerful ways to express yourself artistically, because it's visual and you're seeing stuff, you're hearing, you're feeling, everything is happening all at once. So when you see some stories on film, like I'm giving you an example. I keep telling people about this. There's a film by a Polish filmmaker. The name of the film is Casablanca. It won the best film at the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival. So this filmmaker is Polish. She studied in Cuba and she made this film in Cuba. It's a documentary, and it's a story about an elderly woman in her 80s and her mentally disabled son who is maybe in his 50s. They're poor. They live in this house. He takes care of her. And the entire film was about the two of them. No music, no sound effects, no nothing fancy, just the camera on these two people. And at the end of the film, this woman said, I saw this film the first time it screened here, and I'm back for the second screening. I have a brother who's disabled, and just seeing this story just filled me up with all this emotion. And it was the same night as the awards. And she was like, I know tonight is the award show, but I wanted to give you an award. And she gave her a little trophy that she bought, and it was just this whole big,
That's amazing.
Yeah, but that's the power of film. That's what these stories can do. As a person who's looking at a film, you'll see it and you can see yourself in it. You can connect to it, which is why it's important for Guyanese people to make films, so that we can see ourselves on screen and connect our own stories, connect to each other in that way. So that's on a personal level, I think that's the power of film festivals.
What was a defining moment for both of you, or each of you, at the film festival?
Kojo, you go first.
I think when they called my name, they called all of this, all the film participants, and they called my name, and I was like, I had a sense of, maybe, I got actually get this. I wanted to try to win it, wanted to win it, but you get there and realize that, the other people there aren't slouches either. For me, that was vindication. That was vindication. That's I'm on the right trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and for me, I would say it's that moment, but it was also the moment when he told me that he was accepted into the immersion program, because to me that signaled, wow, okay. I think he's the first Guyanese to get accepted into that program. I don't know if he's the first one to submit to it, but he's the first person to participate in it. So to me, that was a defining moment. And then I understood what opportunities this would open him up to, the types of experiences he would have, and how that could benefit him as an emerging filmmaker from Guyana. So I was very happy, even if he didn't win.
Yes.
I thought that the experience of going there and being around those people and getting a feel and a vibe for what's going on outside of Guyana would be absolutely good.
But Kojo, you mentioned Dennis Walcott earlier, and his thing and encouraging and providing opportunity and so on. You as a filmmaker in a country like Guyana, we're not going to get into all the different challenges you might get from people saying you can't or doubting your skills. But you for yourself, What keeps you going when you have doubts? I'm assuming you do from time to time. What keeps you going, Kojo?
I'm obsessive. I'm obsessive, and I'm very stubborn, very hard-headed.
Mm-hmm.
But something that was really great for me was because remember I was started really making close to 2011, and then 2012, and we had a lot of sport wasn't here. And so I shot something at the end of 2013, but never released it for a host of different reasons. Some personal, some technical. And I finally decided that I would release that film. That film was Standing. It was a five-minute project that I released on Facebook. And in 24 hours, it got over 7,000 views, and it reached 10,000 within 3 days. And these were, mostly Guyanese people, but that's the thing. when you the amount of shares and likes and all that, you really couldn't get a good gauge. But even for instance, I used music from an artist in the U.S. named Pharaoh Monk, and his manager actually got to watch the video, and got word that he liked the project. So it's that reception. I think that was a real boost for me to know that your work is accepted at that level and people connect to it like that. That was a real shot in the arm for me. Yeah.
And for you, Romola, I mean, you have a very interesting story, an interesting journey yourself. Here's Caribbean Film Festival. You got this idea about promoting films and so on, But here you are at the film festival in Trinidad and Tobago. What was going through your mind as you stood among these filmmakers, realizing what capacity you were there as?
It's one of those surreal things. This year was our second year at the festival, and every time we go, they received us very well. The festival organizers, they hosted us both years, and the access to filmmakers, to film industry professionals is unparalleled. I think. I live in the United States. A lot of these people live here, but in the U.S., getting access to a lot of them is just impossible. But in Trinidad, it's an equal playing field. Everyone is there. Everyone is hanging out, having a good time, talking, interested in each other and what everyone is doing. So it's really a very surreal experience. And I can say every time we go there and come back, our work grows in leaps and bounds. It's like there's so much energy, and the follow-up that happens after you leave the festival with everyone that you met. It just facilitates our own growth as an organization, which is something that I find, really amazing.
What is next for Kako?
Lots of things. Oh my gosh. So next year, out of the script competition,
yes,
we were able to select 3 winners. Kojo is one. There's another winner, Cleon John. At the time he won, he was based in St. Kitts. He's now living in Trinidad. And then there's another winner, Karen Chapman, who's also Guyanese, but she lives in Canada. And so we have 3 short films that we're going to be producing next summer. It's going to be shot that are going to be shot next summer. 2 in Guyana, 1 in Trinidad. So that's huge right there. And then there's a whole lot of lead up to that. We have to raise money to make these films, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that is coming. We're also working on this film series at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, which would be a quarterly film series where we would be bringing some of what we consider to be the best Caribbean films to BAM. So that'll be 4 screenings. We're hoping to make that happen next year. And then there is our online platform, which we're going to continue to grow ad films to and encourage people to go to and to look at films, because we have a lot of shorts. We're getting features as well, but it's like a Caribbean Netflix, except that there are only Caribbean films on there. You don't have to search through hundreds of thousands of titles to find the one little film that you're looking for. It's all Caribbean.
Well, that's a good note to end on, and thank you so much, Kojo. Once again, thank you.
You know, I'm really proud of you and proud of Romola. You know, we are all Guyanese, and as I said before, it is very important for us to put our best foot forward, our best talent. Excellence is very important, and so I commend you, Romola. I commend you, Kojo,
Thank you.
and thank you guys. Good night.
Good night.